Holy shit, these last few days. When it comes to Star Wars Battlefront 2, there has just been so much news and information, and most importantly, fucking loud outrage. And I was thinking about doing a video talking about this, but I'm glad I waited because the picture is being painted a little broader now, and I think I have a little bit more of a concrete opinion and some better thoughts on this. The first thing I want to say is yes, I'm going to be talking some shit here. I'm going to be ranting, but by no means do I think that you should cancel a pre-order, or I don't think you should feel like you're stupid for buying the game, or I don't think you should feel bad for buying the game. I'm buying the game. I'm interested in the single player. There's nothing. EA can't fuck up the single player, okay? They can't do weird business practices to fuck up the single player. I'm interested in the single player. You can judge me for buying the game. You can judge me for supporting the game. If you're supporting the game, I'm not judging you. If you're having fun playing the multiplayer, that's fine because just like in the first Battlefront, that game was kind of a unfinished mess, but there was some elements to that Battlefront game where it's like, hey, there's a good game in here. It's just not really fully developed and not fully realized. And one thing I like about Battlefront 2 is, of course, the coin system, which is what I thought just really ruined the experience, has been replaced with a much better system, with a credit system that lets you spawn in vehicles and spawn as heroes a lot better. But I do have problems with that too, and I don't even know where to start here. If I should start addressing the controversy or start talking about the game's issues. I guess I'll just keep talking about the game's issues. Halo 5 has this system where when me and my friend were playing it together, I said to him, because I think Star Wars Battlefront came out that same year, I said to him, you know this is the best Star Wars Battlefront game we're going to get, right? And he kind of knew I was right. And we were both huge Star Wars fans, so we kind of both like laughed, but we were both sad at the same time because we don't want to play Halo to satisfy our Star Wars Battlefront needs. We just want a new Battlefront game to satisfy our needs. So in Star Wars Battlefront 2, when you spawn in a vehicle, you can't leave the vehicle, right? And if you're getting in an AT-AT or an MTT or basically something that's objective based, you can't go off of the rail. You're stuck going. You can't basically control the ship. All you can do is control the turrets. Now I understand why they do that because the objective is literally based on that thing moving in a certain direction. And if a player could move where it went, it would totally ruin everything. I'm not mad about that. I think their system is fine considering it's an online game. If Battlefront 1 and 2 original, a lot of people played those games offline. I played it online, but don't act like you fucking did. I know you fucking didn't. Unless you're like 5 years older than I am, which are, I don't know, maybe you are. But either way, you didn't fucking play it online. I did play the original Battlefront online during its prime, and it was a glitchy piece of shit. it wasn't that fun, okay, because the game was constantly glitching. But besides that, most of the time when you're playing offline, the AT-AT's already on a rail, and if you go in it, yeah, you can ruin the whole mission for yourself, but you don't have to worry about people going in and griefing, so that's fine, right? But what's not fine is that you can't get out of vehicles and get back in. What would be really cool if you spawn next to the AT-AT and you said, shit, I'm gonna get inside of it real quick, do some damage. All right, there's no one here, I'm getting out. That sounds fun, right? What about when there's an AT-ST and you just happen to be by one and you're like, shit, that's awesome, I'm gonna get inside. That sounds like fun. Same with snow speeders, or anything like that. Land speeder. Imagine someone you're playing on Mos Eisley, right? So, Tatooine, Mos Eisley. Someone drives up on a land speeder and he gets shot off, and you're like, shit, I need to get that land speeder before someone else takes it. Or, you drive on your land speeder to an objective. You get off, you kill everyone there, and you get back on and drive away. It's like, or it's like, it ruins a lot of your strategy not being able to get off the vehicle, right? Like, your strategy is fucked because you can't get out. You're stuck in the vehicle. So your strategy better be to just grind out kills, which doesn't really help the objective in some cases. Some cases it does, but it doesn't always help the objective. So to me it makes more sense to. I like the idea of spawning with vehicles because this is what Halo 5 did in its big battle mode. Halo 5 had this crazy mode where, as time went on, you use these cards that you got from your loot boxes to summon in vehicles and summon in spawn with special weapons that made you stronger. It's very similar to what Battlefront is doing now, but instead of using credits to buy, well, actually, I think you do use credits to buy things too. You use credits combined with things you get from loot boxes, and then there's certain things that are like unlocks that are always they're like permanent unlocks. That once you unlock, you don't have to use a card; you just have it. Like being able to start out with the battle rifle instead of the assault rifle, stuff like that. It's a pretty cool system. I'm sure if it was put in Battlefront 2, people would still complain. But if they did something like that, then they wouldn't have to lock the heroes. It'd be more like you just use heroes that you have cards for. And there would be no need to make any character more rare than another, like to get, because you'd be getting all the other characters anyway. That already decreases your chances of getting those characters. So I think a system like that would have made a lot more sense. The other thing in Halo, all you get besides those like mode cards were like armor, like to change how your character looks. So it's cosmetic stuff. So for the most part, that it doesn't really bother me. Cosmetic loot boxes don't bother me. It's okay. I'll take that back. If they will, loot boxes will fucking bother me unless the game has free DLC. And Star Wars Battlefront 2 does, Overwatch does, I'm pretty sure Halo 5 did. So yeah, like as long as you have free DLC, you can do loot boxes and I won't be too mad. But they can't affect the gameplay in a major way, and that is one big fucking issue with Battlefront 2. Battlefront 2's got a lot of fucking issues, okay? Let's go and talk about, that's my main concern with the multiplayer, and I think they could handle it a little bit better, but I'm still gonna try it. Let's try to have some fun with it, and if I can't have fun with it, I'm play Heroes versus Villains mode. I feel like I'll have fun playing Heroes versus Villain mode no matter what. So, I'll try. I'm gonna try things out. I'll play the Starfighter Assault mode. I'll try some things out. I'm sure I'll have a fun time. I'm sure I can make it fun, even if it's not fun. But I am hopeful for the future. And look, if you don't know any information besides the big controversy, then I understand why you're probably laughing at that thought that I'm hopeful. But it's only because I really looked into it. Now, the big controversy, of course, was that originally the game was pay to win, and they fixed that sort of, sort of. They made it to where you have to actually level up your character before you can get really good shit. And I think they made it to where you can get items based around what character you're playing as. So you won't get so much random shit. You'll get stuff that actually helps what you're trying to accomplish. And that makes sense to me a lot more than what they had going. That kind of reminds me of how Call of Duty used to do the progression. And I like Call of Duty never bothered me about the progression. Really. Maybe it should have, though. I don't know. I kind of just want like a balanced multiplayer game. Where maybe you can add in different weapons you can unlock, but how about you have them like not be, one is clearly overpowered. That's kind of how Battlefront 1 was, and that was a kind of an issue. I don't like, let's not do that, But now the even bigger controversy was that, like, okay, they changed the way loot boxes work, so it's not pay to win. However, there was a stupid amount of credits required to unlock one character, and then another same stupid amount to unlock the next character. What two characters are we talking about? Well, we're talking about Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader. The hardest characters to unlock are the fucking two most iconic characters that probably make the most sense on every map. The two characters that you'll probably canonically supposed to have been seeing fighting in the battlefield. And they charge like a ridiculous amount. I think it was 60k credits, and I think people said you had to play like 40 hours to acquire that amount. And I think they didn't calculate like challenges, like beating character challenges, which also give you credits, and beating story mode gives you credits. But the problem is that some of that stuff, you're also supposed to be using credits to buy loot crates, which increase your arsenal and give you stronger abilities and stats. So it's like literally like You can save up a long time for a special hero, or you can pump your money into making your character not suck so much. It's like, holy shit, like, who's getting the advantage here? The people who play more are getting a ton of advantages, but it's also the people who played earlier, meaning you need to pre-order this game, but not only that, but the $80 version, as I've complained about in another video, where I called the Elite Trooper Edition the Elite Cuck Edition, because it comes out, it's already out. I'm here waiting to play Battlefront. People who bought the Elite Cuck Edition, they're already playing. Those fucking cucks are already out there. And they're about to be, when I get on the multiplayer, there's going to be people who have things way better than me on day one. It's super unfair advantage. Playing multiplayer games on day one is super fun because you can normally figure out some exploits that everyone will figure out how to beat in like a week. But that first week, it's so fun to like just own people who are not smart enough to figure out some of the game's mechanics, and you just like own, and then as time goes on, people who know how to play the game will rise to the top, and that's what normally happens. But I always have a fun time on game day one game day. It's always fun. I missed out on this time because out of principle, I refused to pre-order the Cuck edition. I did pre-order the game, sue me, I know, but I bought the normal edition out of principle because that's bullshit. That the only thing it offers is better equipment and being able to play the game early. That's cancer. I cannot believe more people are not complaining about the fact that there's people already playing and the game's not fucking out because they spent $20 more. They literally paid $20 more to play the game, people. This is some shit you guys should be complaining about. I don't want to see EA ever do this again. Now, they can fix Battlefront 2, they can patch it all they want, but I don't want to see this shit happen ever again. So, they greatly reduced the amount of credits. 75% they reduced the amount of credits required to unlock Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker. They were like 60, and now I think they're like 15. I think? I don't know. I don't have the game, so I can't tell you. All I know is it was reduced by 75%. All the heroes were, in fact. So, I think the character, I think her name's Iden Urso. She's the main protagonist. I'm just going to call her the main protagonist. When you beat the game, you get 20k credits, which was originally enough to buy Iden Urso. So, they reduced the amount of credits you get for beating the game to like 5,000, and that's because that's just enough to buy Iden Urso still. So basically, some people are complaining about the fact that now you get less credits. Like, EA didn't just reduce the heroes' price, but they also reduced the amount of credits you earn. That's like, yes, that's technically true, but it's only in the story mode, and the story mode was never intended for you to put that money towards like anything else unless you just really despise playing as Iden Urso. I mean, when you beat the game, you're probably going to be pretty good as playing as her, so buying her for the multiplayer makes sense. I haven't played as her yet, so I don't know if I'll use her, but I have a suspicion that because I already know I don't really like Darth Maul that much. I have a suspicion that besides Kylo Ren and Darth Vader, I might not be playing as too many Jedis on the villain's team. So I might buy Iden Urso and then kind of use her when I'm on the villain's team, along with like Boba Fett and Bosk. Honestly, though, I like playing as jet troopers and I like playing as vehicles. So yeah, that's kind of. I'm probably not even going to spend too much money on heroes, but I will buy Darth Vader because he looks a little overpowered, but in a good, it's Darth Vader, so it kind of should be, and it's kind of fun to be Darth Vader and be really powerful, but at the same time, he does cost the most besides Luke Skywalker, so that's kind of bullshit, but either way, unlocking them, people are doing it on their first day. They can usually unlock one character on day one and the other character on day two. Now, they're probably not buying crates constantly, but I'm sure they can buy a few here and there, and it's not really the best system, to be honest. It's really kind of a weird system that I don't understand. Well, I understand the reasoning behind it. It's because they're putting their greed above what the players want and making a good, fun, balanced game. that's kind of what the problem is on every doorstep. Um, but there is a light at the end of this tunnel. After 700k downvotes, 700k downvotes on Reddit, EA get the most disliked post in Reddit history. They did another AMA today. People at DICE are being promoted and demoted, and from what I can tell, the AMA sounded very optimistic. And so my friend who might watch this, he laughed at me when I said I'm actually hopeful for this game. Someone asked some major questions. One thing they asked is, are you going to completely revamp the game and change the loot crate system completely? And the guy said, what's the fun in making a game if you're not going to challenge yourself and revamp it? Meaning, like, yeah, he might actually do it. Like, yeah, he's going to look into it. And, like, it's actually possible. They weren't, it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it might not happen, it might happen. I can't say it's definitely going to happen. But that's a much better answer than him saying, like, this system is fine. This system is fine. It's okay. Here's some talking points. No, he didn't say that. He said, like, yeah. And I mean, he's like, hell yeah, why not? Hell yeah, dude. Awesome. The second most important thing to me, well, I'm going in reverse order. That was the third most important. Second most important thing to me is someone asked about customization. In this game, there's a few hero skins, but besides that, there's no cosmetic changes to character skins. Like, you can get different victory poses and different emotes, but who the fuck cares? Honestly, who the fuck cares about emotes? Victory poses is one thing that's kind of cool, but I don't give a fuck about. This is the shit in Overwatch that you always groan over, you know? I wanted the shit in Overwatch that I get hyped over, and that's those fucking costumes, baby. Give me some fucking character customization. Let me change how certain characters look. Let me make my specialist characters or my rebel characters or whatever look like General Akbar. Or Admiral Akbar. I guess he's a general now, but Admiral Akbar from the Return of the Jedi. Let me look like that. Or let me have some fucking customization here. Let me change the color of the character's skin. Let me pick if they're a boy or a girl. Let me have some fun. Let me really just change every character. And I know it's crazy to think about because there's fucking 6 teams and there's 6 characters for every fucking team, and there's 6 teams. Let me customize all of them. And you can put some customization. You can let it overlap a little bit. But let me just customize all of them. Now, within reason, a heavy trooper should look like a heavy trooper. A specialist should look like a specialist. And an officer should damn sure look like a fucking officer. But let me do some little changes here and there. Let me change some colors when it's appropriate. Let me, obviously don't make your stormtroopers blue. But if they have, a stripe... If there's a stripe on the stormtrooper's armor, let me change that fucking color. If they got a shoulder pad, like I'm pretty sure the heavy ones do, let me change that color to what I want. Let me have some fun with it. Let me pick their voices. Let me have some fun here, okay? Let me pick what type of armor. Let me have some fun. And they said they didn't have time to put the customization in the game, and that's something that they are working on. And it's like, okay, good. There is a plan here. I'm not even mad that there isn't customization off day one. I could have lived without it, but the fact that it's coming sounds cool. And also this would make the loot crates a lot less bullshit if they could figure out a way to get some of those stat bonuses out of there, and just kind of put those into the weapons or something, and then let the loot crates could be just about cosmetic things. And maybe maybe a few different weapons and different things here and there, kind of like the Halo battle cards where you got permanent upgrades, or you got to choose slightly better versions of weapons that you always got to spawn with because you just earned it from a crate. That stuff doesn't bother me. It's kind of cool, and I think that they do have weapon attachments. I'm pretty sure in Battlefront 2. Again, I haven't played the game yet because I didn't buy the fucking cuck edition, but there is hope here with customization. To me, it's like a bonus, and it would make the if they could figure out that's a big first step to fixing the loot crate system and putting in a much better system. So if they're working on that, then there's already hope that that last mention of the loot crates being removed, there's actually a chance of loot crates being removed. There's actually a chance of a better revamped character progression system. And yes, it's awesome to see the community come together and shit on a game so hard that EA themselves can't just deflect it and can't just look away. They have to address it. It's amazing. Thank you, all the angry people. 700 angry boys. I wasn't even one of the people who downvoted it. And there's still 700K of you. I said 700, I meant 700,000. Good job. Good job, my boys. But the first thing, the most important thing that I heard, keep in mind that this game is going to have free DLC. Now, that's not just maps, but for example, the day before Star Wars Last Jedi comes out, which Last Jedi comes out on the 15th, but you can watch on the 14th. On the 13th, however, you will be able to play a new map called Crate. It's basically the snowy red sand world from the trailer for Episode 8. It looks like there's going to be a big battle there with big walkers, new walkers, old walkers like the ATT. AT-AT. I was like, why did that sound wrong when I said it? The AT-AT. And we all we know is Kylo Ren's there, and possibly there's going to be and Finn, I think, and Leia, but we don't know yet really. The trailer's kind of mysterious, but we do know that Kylo Ren will be there. Either way, we know there's probably going to be a big battle in Crate, especially since it's going to be in the multiplayer. So that's cool. It's going to be like an assault map. That's always cool because that's like the big mode of the game. There's also going to be a space mission outside of Decor. Decor is the world that Luke Skywalker is like hiding on, where Rey finds him. So that's really cool that there's going to be like a space battle above that planet, because it might not make sense to have a giant battle on that planet. So space battle outside the planet, that sounds cool to me. And then of course, plus it's like another episode 7 space battle, and there might not be too many of those. I'm not sure yet. Again, I don't have the game, but that's still cool. Also, that same day, Finn and Phasma, 2 new characters, one for each side, will be out. That's cool too. More characters, more heroes. Awesome. And Finn, I think he's a character. I think we need more representation from Clone Wars and the new trilogy, because there's only like one hero and villain per shebang, and there's a bunch representing the original trilogy, and the Clone Wars at least should get like a few more, and I believe Grievous has already been like found in the code, like he's coming. He probably will be the next DLC after this one next year sometime, hopefully in like February. That'd be pretty reasonable time to wait. But another thing that's coming out that same day, all of this all coming the same day, all of it free, may I remind you, is a single player story mission. They're actually doing story DLC as well as all this multiplayer DLC. And I don't know if they're going to do this every single time, but this is definitely good news. Like, story DLC for free. I don't know if I've ever heard of any game doing this. So like, this is crazy. Like, this is awesome. All of this content, it's like everything they could possibly put an update out for, they're doing all on the 3rd. So the first DLC that's again free, it's gonna be cool. It's all coming out the same day. This is the kind of shit I'm talking about. Like, this is why I got excited for the game initially. This is what I'm excited for now. I have faith. Notice this was not my number one reason. This is not my number one exciting thing from the AMA. This is just like me saying, hey, this is how the DLC works, in case you didn't know. What's fucking awesome from the AMA is that people said Galactic Conquest was the best part of the old games. Bring it back. We demand it to come back. And the DICE representative said, yes, I played a lot of Galactic Conquest in both games. If we brought it back, it would have to be very big. It would have to be big enough for a game in 2017. But we would love to tackle that. And to me, I don't you don't even understand how happy this makes me. I have to explain something. I thought EA was full of retards. I couldn't understand how they fucked up Battlefront so much, and it's because they just completely ignored the originals. And I think it's not that they ignored the originals now. I think what they did was they just tried to make Battlefront their own so much that they ignored a little too much from the originals. Okay, I got to back up. Remember when I was saying you didn't play the online in Battlefront 1 and 2? That's because you didn't play the online. You played the campaign mode, and you played instant action with your friends, and you played Galactic Conquest. You didn't play the online. You might play it now that it's back on Steam and GOG, and everyone can play together. You might play it now. You didn't play it back then. It was a glitchy mess. I played it on PS2. I heard the Xbox version was just as much of a fucking glitchy mess online. You didn't play the fucking game, okay? Now, what you did play was those offline modes. And the Galactic Conquest was something I played so much of because it was an instant stream of always being fun. It was like this awesome reason to play all the maps over and over and over again. It gave you purpose and reason. It almost reminds me of playing a game like XCOM or Civ, because it's just like a scenario where you go through, and as things go on, the stakes become bigger and bigger and bigger. I would love to see if they could make something similar to the version in Battlefront 1 was like it was more like just like playing chess, and it was more fun playing with like another player. The version of Battlefront 2 on the original, oh my gosh. Galactic Conquest in that game was insane. It was like this map where you moved ship pieces across the galaxy, taking over planets that were enemy planets, and they would have to defend their planets, or you would have to defend your planets. You had to spend your credits on units, spend your credits on bonuses and perks, and if they used a bonus or perk and you didn't, that was almost like you guaranteed lost that fucking planet unless you had the fucking skill. And it was, oh my god, it was a blast. Now, I don't think they would be able to copy paste what happened in the original Battlefront 2, but there's a lot of ideas there that could end up being a hell of a lot of fun. Like a really good time to be had. Especially if they implement some sort of online system where it's like you can just play with one other person, or the original Xbox version of Battlefront 2 let you actually play 4-player split screen. So you could play Galactic Conquest 2 on 2, 1 on 3, every man against the AI, so it's just the 4 of you just blasting the AI, having fun, playing this completely like unscripted co-op adventure that you're just making up as you go, and like making your own story, like, and trying to, and then be like, oh fuck, it's Boba Fett, having fun time, just having a fucking blast. It's so much fun. Just let us have the fun. And I am very excited at the prospect of Galactic Conquest returning to Battlefront. Because Battlefront is good, not because it was this crazy online shooter, which, like, that's kind of what they're going for now. Battlefront was good because it was very niche in the idea that it let you satisfy just being able to live out your Star Wars fantasies in these big grand battles. That's all it was. It just let you live your movie moments in a big, like, just crazy epic way that no other game was able to do, and it let you do it any way you wanted. You could be the bad guys if you wanted. You could use like Yoda on Kashyyyk and fight alongside the Wookiees, or you could play as General Grievous on I think he was also on Kashyyyk, but he was on like Utapau. You could go to Dagobah, play as Grievous, and fight Yoda. You could, so much cool shit you could do. You could go to Mustafar and fight as Obi-Wan and Anakin, or you could mainly stick as other soldiers and try to fight off Anakin Skywalker as he leads the new stormtrooper army. You know, stuff like that. Really fucking cool. And like, that's why it was good. And Galactic Conquest built upon that niche even further, letting you do so many cool things and letting you really play every map and playing them so many times that you get really good at the game. That's what I want, man. I want something like that. Because here's the thing about games. Look at Skyrim, look at Dark Souls. When you make a game for everyone, it might not sell to everyone because it might be a mediocre pile of shit. If you make a game that's really niche for a specific market, but you make that niche game satisfy that niche market as hardcore as you fucking possibly can, you will make sales because people who didn't know they liked that shit will realize they liked that shit. And that's why games like Elder Scrolls, and that's why games like Fallout, that's why games like Dark Souls do well. Because they're not trying to be for everyone. Now, you could argue some of the newer games are, but they're not, at their core, they're trying to appeal to their market, right? And that's why they sell, because they're really good at being what they are. And Battlefront was a game to satisfy Star Wars fans. You know, the first Battlefront game you couldn't play as Luke Skywalker or Darth Vader because they didn't know how to do it. They were probably like, that would kind of upset the balance of the game, and we're trying to make a game about like shooting and getting in spaceships and having fun, and we don't know how to do space battles because that would not really like make sense, like, because we want people to be playing on the ground and stuff, and people are like, man, it'd be really good. This game's awesome, but imagine if you could like fly out in space and go in between the ships like in episode 3, or man, but I really want to play as Obi-Wan. Like, I don't want to play as a soldier. I want to be a Jedi and fight all these enemies and hack them down like it's fucking Dynasty Warriors. And then they were like, okay, we'll just do that. And people are like, yeah, what the fuck shooter is this? It's the only first-person shooter where you can do all these weird things. And it's like, well, that's because it's a Star Wars game, my friend. And this is Star Wars. We want to satisfy everything a Star Wars fan could ever ask for. And they fucking accomplished it in Battlefront 2. And then some. They really brought it to us. They really kicked ass with that game. And so, yeah. If they can tap into that niche market, if they can stop being so much of pussies, if they can stop being so afraid of making a crazy out there game, then we could have something really special in our hands. And making Galactic Conquest or Battlefront 2 is the first step forward. This could lead to possibly a very good Battlefront 3 in the future. Maybe we'll finally get the Battlefront 3 we were all waiting for when it's the first good Battlefront game. But Battlefront 2 still has the opportunity to have very good updates. It's a game worth looking at. It's a game worth checking out. And I'm not saying buy it now for $60. Fuck no. I'm going to do that. You don't have to do that, guys. Buy it for $15. And by the time it's $15, you'll have so much more content than I'm paying for $60. You'll have way more maps, probably way more missions for the story mode, a Galactic Conquest mode possibly, a bunch of great customization features, and no bullshit with loot crates that increases character stats and then breaks the balance of the game. You are looking at a great future for Battlefront 2, but as of right now, hell no. I'm not saying go out and buy the game, alright? But remember, I'm also not saying cancel pre-orders. I'm just saying do what makes you happy. Battlefront 2, you know, like, a lot of people complained about it, and that complaining led to something good. I hope Battlefront 2 reminds people a lesson that just because something seems like you have no power, just because it feels like you're powerless, doesn't mean you are powerless. You can raise your voice. And even if you are just another number, when you're 700,000 strong, sending a middle finger to EA saying, stop this shit, quit trying to fucking ruin Star Wars so you can make extra money. Just remember that you have that ability. You know, just remember that you're part of something here. You're part of the Rebel Alliance fighting the EA Empire. You everyone who fucking made their voices heard did a great job. I made my voice heard about an issue that no one seems to care about, and it wasn't addressed. And yeah, Elite Cuck Edition happened, and I'm not gonna get to play the game until Friday. That's how it is. But uh, everyone else who made their voices heard, good job, good job. You did what you said to do. You know, the credits have already been the credits to unlock Darth Vader and Luke Skywalker and all the other heroes. They're already been reduced greatly. And it looks like it seems like they want to make improvements. And, you know, it's like EA knows. I don't know. I don't know who's in charge. They definitely don't want this negative press. So keep complaining because they don't like it. And complain as much as possible. Just keep fucking complaining. If there's something you don't like, complain about it. You know, complain until you have no reason to complain, because you might see changes to the game. I think EA is very silly. I think they don't understand what made the original games good at all. But I'm hoping that they will slowly understand what the fans want over time. And I think it is achievable. And I think there's no reason we've seen games do complete overhauls before. Games do it all the time. It could happen. We could see Battlefront have a big shift. So, we'll see. Hopefully Battlefront 2 works out at the end. I'm sorry this was such a long-winded video. There's a lot of things I wanted to talk about and cover. I wanted to make a video by itself, just all about why Battlefront 1 and 2 was good, and that was my niche, idea. And, I mean, I've played so much Battlefront 2 in my life. I mean, fuck, I might just go turn it on right now. I have it on the original Xbox. I used to play on PS2. Now I don't know where my PS2 version is, but I have it on my original Xbox, and I have it on Steam. So, hell, I could play Battlefront 2 anytime, any way I want. And I'm probably going to play it in a little bit because I just fucking love that game. I will always play that game. I'll play it after Battlefront 2 comes out. I don't care. I love that game. It's one of my favorite games of all time. And I don't expect EA to remake it. I don't expect EA to make anything like it. But that doesn't mean EA can't make a good Star Wars game. And at this current state, I'm not saying it's a good game. But I wouldn't say it's terrible. I'd just say it's like a mediocre shooter. And when there's so many good shooters out there, like I can't recommend playing this over Titanfall or Overwatch. I would say play Titanfall 2 or Overwatch over this any day. In fact, I would probably even say play Battlefield 1 over this. I don't like Battlefield 1. I can recommend this over Destiny. That's about it. I don't like Destiny. Destiny 2 is just as bad as the first one. This game actually looks like it has some potential over the first Battlefront. So, can't say that. But all I'm saying, guys, is make informed decisions. Keep complaining. Keep your voices heard. Have fun playing games. If you want to see the story, you can rent it. You don't have to buy the game. But, I guess I should end this by saying "May the Force be with you always," but I'm not gonna do that because I'm not a fucking